Welcome to the show, folks. Hey, if you don't know me, my name is Mike Asherbranner, professionally known as the Redneck Connector, proud and humble leader of the Hounds of Business community. And I have with me, as always, April Wyatt of livingwithintention.co and fellow hound and leader. How are you today, my friend?
I'm doing really well. I'm excited for to learn more about Jason, and Keith is a dear friend of mine, so I'm excited to have him back here too.
Oh, yeah. And well, especially for week 3. I cannot believe it's already June. I know it's cliche, but week 3 of June Men's Health Month series. So we want to give a shout out to Russ Hedge. Russ Hedge, a lot of you know, dealing with a lot of challenges and in the most inspiring
Sending
way.
love to Russ.
Yeah. So we sending thoughts and prayers to you, my friend, and we have you back. You're a brother. All right. And also to Joe Rivera. Sharp guy, had a last minute thing he had to take care of, so he will be back. Sharp guy, and we're probably going to do a round 2 because I want to get the guest today that could make it with those guys. Thunderstorm of greatness there. All right, thunder and lightning. So real quick, April, if you would, you have an event tomorrow. I want to make sure folks tap into it. A lot of high performers, high achievers watch this show. We want to give them things that help them, right? Not just feel good, but move the needle forward. And you have been such a great guide for me, helping me regulate, find more harmony, and not unravel trying to build a business. And let's be real, it happens, okay? Even to the best and strongest, all right? So, April, share that. And where can folks go? And what did I hit the button? I know. There you go. Hands up.
Yes, I am very excited. And thank you so much, Mike, for always supporting me and the fellow members of the Hounds. And this is a recalibration masterclass for high capacity women that are holding a lot in their lives. So whether you're a caregiver, an entrepreneur, a CEO, any woman who feels that they are just at max capacity and want to slow down, but aren't able to because of the patterns that we have carried throughout our lives. So I help people to unpack that and witness that and find ways to ease that pressure. So if that's something that anyone feels called to, please reach out, DM me. You can scan that QR code and please share with others because, together we're better for sure.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, hey, you've helped this redneck. You can help most anybody. So, folks, I love these sessions. Go to them. I'm not allowed. It's it's for women, but there are plenty of things at her website, livingwithintention.co. And have to give a big shout out. I've seen one of them in the house today. So, quick thank you to 2 of the Hound sponsors. First, Phil Tetrue with Rapid Growth Services. Yeah, folks, Phil is a no BS strategist. I love this guy. He's helps business owners cut through the noise, essentially, right? Find the right growth moves and stop wasting time and money on things that don't actually move business forward. Who doesn't need more than that? So thank you, Phil. Love having you in the Hounds. And also, I see him in the comments. All right, Christopher Colombo, all right, MD with Functional Mentoring. Christopher helps high-performing people work through confidence, leadership, imposter syndrome, and internal friction that can keep most good people from stepping fully into who they were meant to become. That is perfect match for what the Hounds is all about. Dr. Christopher, thank you so much for all you do and who you are. And Phil and Christopher, appreciate you both. Thank you for backing the Hounds, bringing these panels to us, and really helping other people just become their best self. It's what it's all about, folks. So we're going to get into it. Roll the intro. I do have something to share. Tonight's conversation, ask questions. You're busy, probably things in the background. We appreciate you being here. We're all about the right room. All right. Contribute if you feel like it, right? If you feel comfortable, contribute, share your thoughts, answer the questions, ask your own questions. We'll do our best to put it on the screen. And this is the right room, right? Sometimes that's all it takes to get noticed. Just make one thoughtful, heartfelt contribution and the ball gets rolling. Simple as that in the Hounds, folks. So go ahead and roll the intro. I'll make an announcement of what we have coming up that can really move the needle for lots of business owners. And then we're going to get this rock star panel started. Sound good?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's do it.
Are you looking to grow your network and your net worth with other high-level, heart-centered professionals? Then grab a seat and your favorite beverage and join Mike Asherbranner, the Redneck Connector. It's time for the Hounds of Business Community Happy Hour.
All right, folks, real quick. We do these once every, maybe about twice a year. All right. And these June series, if you've already been watching, you already know they're not motivational panel parades, right? We're building something towards real practicality. So every Wednesday, all right, one more Wednesday in June, we're going to have the brotherhood chat after this one. But I want you all to share this. Show up. There's no charge to this. It's free, but lots of value pack. We don't do infomercials, bait and switch nonsense here. So on Thursday, July 2nd, 12 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time to 1:15, we're going to be hosting a private workshop called Stop Chasing Clients. Build the trust that brings business to you. All right. That workshop is for founders, coaches, consultants, experts, business owners, anybody who is a relationship-driven professional who is also tired of fake networking, shallow content, and chasing people around like another who are never a fit to begin with. Tonight is a big piece of that puzzle because more visibility does not fix weak structure. And I'm not preaching. I'm sharing the cautionary tale. I've done a lot of this because I didn't know what I didn't know. Okay. So we're going to be there sharing the Costco method. King of Clarity, Steve Woodruff will be there. Our very own April Wyatt will be there as well, sharing all the good stuff, valuable things. We're also going to have I Am Women or I Am Magazine International, both men's division represented, as well as Bruce Silverman of Purple Buffalo. So there's a lot of value. We're going to have some giveaways beforehand. So follow me on LinkedIn, Redneck1, Mike Asherbranner, or the Hounds of Business. Or you can catch all of this on YouTube, Hounds of Business. We'll put it on the comments. Share it with your friends. Show up. We want to see people move. All right. Get big glasses of milk. That's our way. All right. So no cheesy horse stuff, guys. That's what I'm trying to say. And by the way, we like to have a sense of humor. All right. So maybe I'm not funny. But this kind of thing is what we're going to be showing you the practicality of, right? Because this is what I did, y'all. I was running around selling bald people haircuts, wondering why nobody took me seriously. And again, even if you're not a noob, hey, sometimes when you're pivoting, you get back in that, awkward kind of, I need some help stage. So you're in good company, no judgment here. And we want to see you move forward to make that impact, right? Not just time and money, but the impact we can make. So let's move forward. Let's get them on up here, April. I don't want to touch the button. I'm already acting bad today. There he is. So welcome to the show, Jason McNamara. See, I overthought it, man.
McNamara, let's go.
There it is. And Keith Mercer. How are you today, gentlemen?
Keith.
Oh, no. Keith, can you not hear me? Keith. Oh, the tech gods are not happy with us. Y'all should have seen this backstage, y'all. Like, we did everything right. Well, Jason, I'll tell you what, we're going to start off and see if we can't get Keith. He's all smiles and no sound. So I'll tell you what, go ahead and let the good folks know, a little bit about your background because you served our country. Thank you for your service and sacrifice. Tell the folks where you're at and what you're doing now, brother.
Absolutely. First, I want to say to my fellow fathers, happy Father's Day coming up. My birthday is actually this Sunday. I'm turning 39, and I retired when I was 32. I did not grow up with a silver spoon. I grew up in South Florida. I was born in the Caribbean. I grew up with the opposite of the silver spoon. I grew up hanging around older, tougher kids that taught me hard knocks, which worked out great when I joined the Navy and I became a prison guard in Guantanamo Bay. That's where the CIA selected me for security for interrogation. So I got a couple Navy and Marine Corps Achievement Medals, came home, took a job with the state of Florida, helping disabled veterans overcome barriers to employment. Another meaningful job. It was hugely intrinsically rewarding, Mike. But you know what? I had my first son and then my second son on the way. My boys are now 12 and 14. And that job didn't pay well. I was salaried at $30,000 a year, and I was not going to escape the rat race on that salary. So I transitioned. I took a job. I took a chance. I started door-to-door sales. After 2 weeks, they promoted me to supervisor. I started crushing all their numbers, and I transitioned companies 3 months later to a family-owned business whose motto was, "You are a trusted advisor." I took that and ran with it. I learned how to serve my community, to solve their problems, And I broke all those records. Out of the nation's largest family-owned pest control company, I hit #1 back in 2019. And my mom taught me financial literacy. So I wasn't just, buying T-bone steaks and taking cruises. I was buying houses. I was creating investment streams. I was creating true passive income. So 6 months after COVID, I had a choice, right? I was making more money outside of work than I was making at work. And I was saying something because I was getting paid more than most of the managers. But I could stay home fine. I could live the life of my dreams. I can garden full time. I can take care of my kids. And so 2020, I did. A few months later, I'm bored. All right. There's only so much homeschooling and gardening I can do. I go back to school for my MBA. I start seeing people in need in my community. I started 4 local nonprofits locally before I even started playing around with the internet. And then I noticed that people were really trying hard to build what I had already achieved for myself. Financial freedom. I built the life of my dreams. I got a pond stocked with fish and I put a waterfall on it. I got a shooting berm and I got 4-wheeler trails. I got a big gun safe with lots of whatever I need in there. I built the life of my dreams. Full custody of my kids, by the way. That's a whole different story. I'm not going to get into toxic femininity yet, unless y'all want to. But, I realized that people needed help. They needed common sense, right? They needed to have a team of trusted advisors to poke holes in whatever their plans were so we could shortcut their gaps to excellence. Because people can spend years stubbing their toes trying to figure out, why isn't this working? Well, if you're selling steaks to vegans, that's why it's not working, right? And by the way, just because you put a quarter in the crypto doesn't mean you're going to crank out $100,000. Like after the first 10 times you realize that you lost your money, don't do it in 11. So anyways, I wanted to be there for these folks. So I started the No More 9 to 5 Club, the No More 9 to 5 Foundation, and Mindshredder Pro to give back to help not only entrepreneurs, but every single good person, every single growth-minded person do better, go further, and have a community and network that they can trust. So Mike, you've been seeing me since I've been building this thing, and I appreciate your camaraderie. I met Phil the other day. He's amazing, by the way. Shout out to Phil. So yeah, that's the quick version.
Oh, I love that version. Hey, birds of a feather flock together. And yeah, that's what this is about. We're not over here in a pedestal. Thank you for saying that. We're trying to help people not drive off the business cliff 16,000 times. And that's what it's about. I mean, I'm glad for my journey, but, hey, I'm not trying to repeat it. And so this is what the panel's for. Thank you, Jason. I appreciate you, brother. Keith, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, thank you. All right. I done used one of those. I was over here praying out my hat, man. All right, brother. You have so April White introduced us. You met at the YMCA in your town.
Yes.
And
yes.
Wow, she's a master connector on accident, dude. She just this what she does. So PB&J in the same jar. That was me and you. So tell the good folks, a little bit about your background and where you're at now, because you do a lot of impactful work, brother.
Yes, sir. And first of all, I'm so excited to be here today. It don't take much to get me excited, but I'm very excited today. Keith Mercer, founder of Mercer Elite Academy, author of the Student Success Formula, public speaker, and what most people call the mentality expert. What I do is I help students, educators, teams, and organizations develop a winning mindset, leadership, and accountability systems necessary to have long-term success. My story started I was born in Washington, D.C., Capitol Heights, Maryland, which was the murder capital at the time. I went through a lot of poverty, extreme violence. And at an early age, I had to figure this out. I had to do something different. And that's where I started helping people, started impacting people, and being that person that not only talked about it, but as we say, be about it. Don't just talk about it, be about the work. So it was at that early age and stages that I started developing my structure. I needed to have something that can keep me from what I saw, which was death and violence around me. So that's where Mercer Elite Academy came from, is to be able to figure out, how can we help people? How can we help communities? How can we help this world become a better place? And I'm so excited about just being a part of something special with the Hounds. For most people that don't know, the Hounds is a very, very, very special place. It's a real place. It's a people's place. It's a place where people can come and just be themselves, but also find like-minded people that's all about impact, all about impact. And I love that. So thank you for having me here, and thank you for having me in the house.
Oh man, birds of a feather. See, servant leadership. You didn't have to say that. Hey, don't talk about it, be it, right? And you two are
Sure.
just servants, right? And that's why I was so happy to have you all on. And I've got to bring back Joe Rivera and Russ because we're gonna have a monster panel. But on that,
Absolutely.
that's what I mean. There's a lot of good-hearted people out there who are following playbooks and rule books that were never designed for them. Yeah, and that's what this is. So I want to dive into that because this market is changing. AI and all kind of fear and all kind of crazy stuff. And I don't even watch the news. That's why I'm a much healthier man. But I hear the important news finds me, Jason. So I want to talk about this concept first. I want to just hit it off as a group discussion. What I found is this, and people in the hounds are attracted to us because more noise is not the answer. More noise is not the answer. And that we're talking about business specifically, but we're also talking about folks that are creating foundations, right? Movements, community involvement. So it really doesn't
Yes.
matter. It doesn't have to be business, even though we're talking more about it, folks. And I'll put a question down there for everybody. Chime on in. I know the comments may not be working. There's some glitches this month. But here's what I want to talk about. And I hear this a lot. A lot of founders and business owners think the answer is more content, more leads, more tactics, more. And the law of averages has its place. But I'm all about the
Yes.
horse before the cart, right, guys? So because sometimes more just creates more chaos. Oh, hey, believe it. So here's where I want to start. Jason, we'll start with you. Where do you see people chasing noise instead of focusing on building structure in general?
Oh man, all over the place. So when I first started the No More 9 to 5 Club, I was trying to teach people financial literacy. We built on save, earn, and invest money. And I quickly realized that if I told somebody to, cancel their Amazon and Hulu subscriptions and it made them too uncomfortable, they're not ready, right? So we started attracting different types of entrepreneurial minded folks. And I find people from shiny object syndrome seekers, they might have a good business going for them and they get sidetracked with some new opportunity and let their business crash. And it makes no sense to me. I'm like, listen, you don't throw away the baby, right? So, people really got to stay focused. We all only have 24 hours in the day. I also see it with overkill on networking. I see people networking like all week long. And I'm like, when do you get your work done? I don't get it. So, I tell people all the time, you got to have your priorities, right? You got to know your KPIs. You got to know the things that you as the CEO should do. And me, I've got systems, I've got automations, I've got people. So I don't have to do everything. So I can go live the life I want to do and still get it done. So that's the biggest problem is people are just trying to do too much by themselves. They're stepping out of their lane of expertise, trying to figure out new things when they should hire the guy that knows how to do what they're trying to do.
Bingo. But here's what I want to dive in a little bit and get Keith's perspective. A lot of us, right? Because you got a lot of folks listening, chime in on this. We didn't plan on this, right? Something happened, maybe a layoff or some kind of, midlife reinvention or something happened. And then we say, go for it, right? Like people say, hey, you need to write a book. And we put it off. Well, I'm not writing a book, blah, blah, blah. And then one day we're like, maybe I'll write the book. But that's the trouble. This is why the communities and collaborations like ours are powerful, because I want your perspective. What I have seen is, grandma, right, maybe retired or someone leaves corporate, they leave basketball and they jump into entrepreneurship, which is water polo, right? So they play by the different rule book. And then what happens, they come in and then people are like, buy this. This thing will find all your clients. It'll do your dishes. But they didn't do the stuff before then. They didn't do the branding because they didn't know any better. So, Jason, is that what you see? You see good people that they just need guidance, man. They're not dumb. And I want people to know that you're not dumb if you're doing this wrong. And we're not judging you. We're saying plug into where you can learn, right? What's your experience? You see a lot of this, right?
I see a lot of this. Our entire model now is about ascending the ladder because too many people try to jump from escaping and survival into entrepreneurship. And you're right. It's a totally different sport. And you're not just competing with the folks that are clocking into your 9 to 5. You're competing with really successful people who have figured their stuff out. So if I have an option to spend my money with somebody trying to figure it out versus somebody that's already figured it out, where do you think I'm going to spend it? So, too many people are trying to jump straight to success. Like, give me more leads. Well, did you convert the last 20? Then why am I going to give you more leads?
Amen. And that's the horse before the cart, right? Like, I didn't even know what branding was, and I have a business degree. Like, how does that happen? I said branding. I heard marketing. Go out there and talk. Problem is, if you go out there and amplify confusion, you just get more confusion. Keith, now you and I don't want to spill the beans. You can be as open as you want. But
Yes.
you and I, right? Like, we went through a first phase, and now we're like on a second and third. So it does sound easier in practice, and guidance is paramount. So what would you like to share on this subject? I'm just gonna open it.
I think a lot of times we've been conditioned to think that, hey, you got to be busy. You need to be busier. You need to be busier because you're not successful. But what we realize is being busy doesn't mean that you're being productive, right? Find your lane and make sure you're being productive. Because, like Jason said, we all have the same 24 hours. The difference is the successful people use the hours to help them where they can be productive. And I'll give you an example. Let's say you're thirsty. You go in your cabinet, you pull out a cup, and you pouring water in the cup, but you realize that I'm not getting water. Why am I not, quenching this thirst? But you look at the cup, it's a hole in the cup. Well, it's a hole in the cup because you're too busy, right? You're too busy. So you're staying thirsty because it was a hole in the cup, right? You didn't take your time to look at the cup and to make sure that you're pouring the right water in your body, right? You can be thirsty, but you want to quench your thirst. You want to be able to be successful, staying focused, staying in your lane, and not staying busy, right? Busy does not mean production. That's the difference.
That and again, folks, we're not saying you're bad or anything. We're saying be aware of, right? This could save your business, your mission, your vision, your confidence, right? Your peace of mind, everything. We're not talking about just making money on your own terms. We're talking about building a life. That's what I love about Jason saying that. Like, I wasn't made just to make money and pay bills and die like that shirt on the promo. That's not that's real. And there's so many good people that don't think they're good enough, or they tried.
Yes.
Well, I tried that and it didn't work. Well, try it with guidance and wisdom. Try it with a guy like, Jason and his community, our community. That there's support for a reason, right? And I love what you said, Jason. Before we move on, I got to ask, what are the signs that someone is active, right? They're active, they're doing all the stuff, but they're not actually building. They're like, hey, I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do, but it ain't working. What are some of the tell signs that they can go, oh, shit?
That's easy. I mean, I've seen people come in and they say XYZ, right? This is what I'm working on. 3 weeks later, it's something new. So we're like, hold up, what happened to XYZ? And they're like, oh, well, I discovered this and now it's my new thing. I'm like, okay. So when I see people out of integrity, if you tell me you're doing something and then you tell me you didn't do it, like, I've learned, after the first 2 or 3 times, this is a pattern. You just say you're going to do things and don't actually follow through. This is a problem too. It's a problem to be around me and not have integrity. It's a problem to be around me and my community and say one thing and do another, because that, like, you're not only lying to all of us, you got to be lying to yourself. So you see the results of what people do. You don't see the results of what people say they're trying to do.
Exactly. And I wrote this article. I'm not going to go on, but I wrote the article for I Am Men's Magazine, and it was on being reliable. Listen, I was excited about the connection, but that's what I wanted to point out. Systems can help you be reliable. If, like, for me, right, every time you pivot, it's like building a city on an earthquake. That's what I've noticed. So structure, to end this segment here, structure is important because it helps protect who you are, right? Keep your word, those values that make your business fuel. Right. Even if you have the best offers and you keep letting people down, that business is going to suffer. And so that's the importance. So let me run through this because I want to talk about discipline beneath the business. This is where we should bring April up because she has had a first, side view, like the front row view. That's what it's called. So because this is real stuff that men just don't talk about. And I appreciate y'all's openness. So Keith, we're going to start with you on this. Because your lane is mentality, leadership, and accountability. A lot of
Yes,
people
sir.
want business structure, but they don't have a personal structure. And I'm a firm believer, once you get this right, now you can hold up the rest of the structure. So, what does discipline beneath the business actually look like? The stuff that nobody sees.
Well, I mean, discipline is doing what need to be done before the lights come on, right? Discipline starts with believing in yourself, and that's the big thing that really signifies success and people that's not successful. It's discipline. Discipline is really big with structure. Because here's the deal. Everybody's great when things are going well. Well, what do you have in place when things aren't going well? When you don't feel like it? For that word that we call hype. Oh, hype is great. Yeah, when things are starting out well, right? But hype is not longevity. That's where the
Yeah.
structure come in at, right? It takes discipline. The things you do, things don't happen in a day. Things happen daily. The little things you do, as we say in the dark, is really that discipline that's going to help you build and be sustainable with your structure.
Absolutely. And I'll be honest, I think of Jason, like that's a man who worked on himself. I don't know if he did business, I'll let him speak for himself, but it's clear that you did a lot of internal work as well as business work. And so, what are your thoughts here? Like, because there's a lot of leaders, and I was doing it too because I didn't know any better, but they haven't mastered themselves first, so they sabotage their skill and their chances of success. What do you want to share with that?
I definitely had to do a lot of work. I grew up probably in a similar environment that Keith did. I was shot at way before I joined the military. I used to be one of them bad South Florida kids, and all my mentors were criminals because that was the neighborhood I lived in. And I realized that I do not want to be like y'all. So that's why I changed my life. That's why I got out of there. It was a conscious choice to do better. And now I like to help other good people do better. And discipline is important. Like when we talk about integrity, I see Victor made a comment about, looking in the mirror, right? When we're lying to our own subconscious, we make a choice of who we are. If you get up and nobody's watching and you don't do the things that, you're showing up to the world saying you're doing, it's going to add up. Eventually, the fake screen's going to crack and people are going to see through the cracks that, hey, this person is not doing the work. They're not doing what they say they're going to do. So me personally, like when I was in the military, and this is a little touching subject, but I have actually went to my friends' funerals. I've stopped suicides. I've kicked down doors. I've done all types of crazy stuff. And I had to deal with my own PTSD. I'm rated with the VA for it, and it used to be way, way, way worse. I used to cope with it the wrong way. And I had to learn. I had to learn how to process my own thoughts, my own feelings, because stoicism's a good look on me. It's way better than the opposite. And, most men need to realize that, right? We are allowed to have feelings, right? How we process our feelings, that's our choice, right? And, escaping, running to a bottle or a woman or, whatever, makes us feel better. That's the animal in us, right? There's an animalistic urge in us to feel good. All of us humans like to feel good. However, to me, the right way to feel good is to stack wins. Every single time I make a good choice, I get a nice, healthy dopamine boost. And when those good choices stack up all day long, even when nobody's looking, I don't need any other dopamine boost. I make good choices and it feels damn good.
Woo, Mike John, I don't want to mess that up with any redneckism. I'll go to Keith, though. Hey, this is real talk. I appreciate you guys, seriously. And thank you all for showing up. And look, Christopher Colombo, yes, you can meet these guys. I already know he's on it because he's birds of a feather. What do you have to share on this, if anything? Oh, my bad. That was Jason. So, can you hear me?
You calling on Keith, right?
Yeah, Keith. So, I'm not even going to ask the question. Just share the thoughts. This is a good combo. I don't want to mess it up. Go on.
I mean, and Jason, listen, we are definitely birds of a feather. Before I was 10, my first time I saw somebody get their head blown off, it really changed my life, man. I didn't have a choice but to find some type of discipline. I had to, because my role models was drug dealers and athletes, and I knew what I didn't want to be. I wasn't going to be a drug dealer. I wasn't going to be a jump out kid. So I needed something in my life to actually help me move forward and to help me be able to not be like what I saw every day. And that's where the discipline came in for me. I've never done a drug, never smoked anything. I've never even had coffee. Like I really had to be disciplined to get myself out of that situation and help me move forward. Because here's the thing I learned: life is going life, right? And it was that discipline that helped me build structure. And then that structure realized I used to talk to myself and I used to say, okay, Keith, this is not who you are. And I realized that my circumstances right now isn't who I am. But I had to, just like you, I had to make a choice. It's going to either be this or this. And I wasn't going to do this. And I could just remember, I think I was 9, sitting and praying and asking God, if you get me out of this situation, I'll do what's right in every community. And I always get choked up when I say this. I promise God and my parents that no matter what community I go to, I'll do my part because people are really suffering. And remember this, guys, we don't know what we don't know, right? So it was, how can we help people get out of survival mode so they can get into success mode? And the discipline was everything for me. I was able to say no at a young age, and that really helped me. But what I realized was I was building structure. I was building my structure, my confidence from within, because I looked in the mirror every day. I cared about who I wanted to be and who I didn't want to be.
2 points I want to make. Folks, they're not supermen. Like, they're not superpowers. They wasn't born with something you didn't have. I used to think that, and I'm going to say it out loud because I know a lot of folks tell me that, and drop the shame. It's a decision, right, gentlemen? That it's
Absolutely.
a daily decision, right? Because we all get knocked down, but a lot of us don't get up, or we take a long time to do it. So I want people to understand that it is a decision, and what goes on below the iceberg, the part you can't see, that's why they're successful. Because a lot of people just see y'all doing your thing and going, wow. They don't see the grind. They don't see the pain, the tears, all the rocking, right? Losing friends, changing it all. Jim Rohn said this, and I'll end it. I'll never forget it. It keep me in the game, folks. He said, don't wish for it to be easy. Just wish for it to be worth it. That has carried me so far because I'm like, man, because comfort, I'm geared for it too, but I wasn't made for comfort. I was made for greatness, right? I want to leave a legacy. I want to impact. And you gentlemen relate to that. And you're doing that. You are that. So that's why, again, be careful. There's a time for hustle. There absolutely is. I get my David Goggins out at the right time. But sometimes I got to rest. Michael Phelps did not go full throttle before he went to the Olympics and won 17 gold medals. So build your structure, build yourself, seek wisdom, man. That's it. So, Jason, I'm going to go with you because I want to talk about those systems that create freedom. And I can't think of anybody better than for you to be here to share this. So you're no more 9 to 5, right? The community and the work, man, speaks to a lot of people who want freedom. My old mentor, you will love that guy. He's all the same guy, right? But again, man, freedom without structure turns into another trap. And I have recently, in the last several months, realized the importance of it. So what do people misunderstanding about building freedom? It sounds good, but what do they not really get or maybe misunderstand in the beginning?
That's shadow work, my friend. That's shadow work. I'm seeing a lot of comments. People are loving the idea about having integrity, having discipline, all of these things, right? Having good dopamine boosts, healthy ways to train the brain. So when I started this thing, I started teaching people financial literacy, but it was also goal setting. It's quantum enlightenment, learning about the quality of their thoughts. So many things that they have to work on. Somebody has to become a different version of themselves to evolve from 9 to 5 or even startup into the type of person that everybody wants to do business. They have to evolve. They have to learn how to attract, not chase. And I saw you talking about that earlier. And that involves taking good care of themselves. You don't see successful CEOs tired and, stuck sweeping the floors, right? They have people for that. You see them well rested, well taken care of, showing up to the meeting, getting handed the notes and reviewing it before because somebody's already hooked them up. Somebody already did the research. They don't have to do it all. So in order to get there, somebody has to learn how to take care of themselves. Their keep their cup full, do the shadow work. You don't know everything, right? And I'm sure all the hounds understand they're constant learners, right? You don't get into the hounds if you think you know it all, because that's a red flag for me. Like, oh, you know it all? Oh, wow, teach me. All right. But anyway, so for people, right? For people that are trying to, build, like you mentioned, systems. I love automations. I love hiring people to do things. From my web developers, the graphic designers, the social media people to manage messages, people, AI to do things. Now, AI is incredible. I've started vibe coding. That's a whole nother conversation. But to put things in place to solve problems. Remember, money is only an exchange of value. So whether you're paying a person, you're doing it yourself, or you're automating it, it's still got to get done. Choose wisely.
I'm going to take this opportunity to share this, because every opportunity I got to share this, and you brought it up, blame Jason. Angelique Letizia made this because I made that comment. Right? You've known this for decades. I've figured it out recently this year that I don't need to know it all. I don't know it all. But, I have an April Wyatt. I have a Keith Mercer. I have people that plug the holes in the boat, so to speak. So I said, that's my job, is to put great people together and help them amplify their impact faster. And I love that, man, mindset. And let me ask you this, because I want Keith to chime in. But when you're starting off, you have to do all of it. I mean, you ain't got no money, no clue. But what I hear you saying too is be preparing for that, right? Go get somebody to do it, right? There's VAs all over the place. There's too many excuses and not enough action, right? That you can do it, right? Maybe it's a control issue, not a financial issue, right? Be real with yourself. And I love what you said about shadow work. Be real with yourself. I'm telling you, your business will start to clear up. You'll start to identify it, right? Pull your hair out to say, Keith, right? Because we've been in this mud pit ourselves, right? And still elevating upward, right? So what do you want to share with this when it comes to, the cost of not paying attention to scale, right? Not trying to build independence, taking the garbage out, answering the phones as a CEO of a company.
Absolutely. Many men are exhausted, like Jason said, because they're just carrying on too many responsibilities. And a good leader understands you don't know what you don't know. So be willing to learn, right? Be willing to be a part of a team, be a good teammate. Reach out, use your systems. That's where the structure come into place at. Know what you need to do. Know what your triggers are and how you feel inside, and let the experts be the expert. That's where the systems come in at. We don't live in this world alone, right? Do your research, know what your level, your expertise is, and then outsource everything else, and be willing to let go. We've been conditioned, oh, this is my baby. I gotta see it all the way through. Well, what we realize is that's not a team. That's not a good teammate, right? Find good teammates like the Hounds, because we got some great teammates, by the way, in the Hounds. So every chance I get, I'm gonna shoot that out. Find good, like-minded people where you have a good team where you can build on. And remember, winning championships don't make you a champion. Being a champion is what helps you win championships. You could be a champion in your lane and still win championships with your team. And we always say, there's no I in team. So learn to be a good teammate.
Horse before the cart, right? And Jason,
Absolutely.
I want to ask him this. I probably should have asked him in the private chat. Don't invoice me. But what are some things out there for folks who are, especially newbies, right? People who are new, because we're all new. The heavyweight champ didn't, he was new too. So what are some of the things that people need to be looking for? So what systems and things should they be looking at to help them get out of that? Just, I got to do it all 20-hour grind a day.
All right. So for one, I know it says MTP CEO. What is MTP? It stands for Mind Trainer Pro. You need to master yourself before you get started. Amen. You need to master the quality of your thoughts, because it's going to determine the quality of your life. If you can't master your mind, you can't mastermind, right? So, that's the first step, right? I made the No More 9 to 5 Club free. Anybody can show up. Anybody can find value. They can take courses, show up to events, ask questions. I'm quick with the remove and report. I'm quick with the putting people on do not disturb if I don't want them back, because I care more about the integrity of my community than anybody's money, because I have my own. So we actually have a 501c3 called the No More 9 to 5 Foundation. So we also give back to veterans, heroes, and first responders. If anybody falls into that category, come check us out. We'll hook you up with a bunch of free stuff. But that's the biggest thing, right? This system upstairs, the system that is going to determine every choice subconsciously, how you treat your spouse, how you treat your kids, how you treat your employees. It all starts. Most of the things we do, most people don't even have control over it. It's like somebody had to tell them afterwards, you did this. So, you know, in order to get really strategic and intentional, you need to get strategic and intentional. You can't show up unprepared with bad breath and tired. All right. Red Bull or Celsius, it's not going to get you through the day. So,
you mean I'm not going to grow wings? I was hoping they'd be camo wings, but I love it. What did you say? Master your mind before you mastermind. I'm going to crochet on a pillow, dude. Like that.
I just made that up.
Yeah, that I was going to say, man. Wow, file that away before I steal it. No, but I love that because it's real talk, and you know you can be tough on yourself. I'm nice and tough. I think it's a harmony. I don't like the word balance, gentlemen. What do you think? In life, every time I take a step, I'm off balance. Right? Balance just implies that it has to be perfectly in balance. Harmony means that, yeah, sometimes I got to take care of this, grind over here, might be a week away from home. But when I get home, that I shifted, right? And so it is with your business, man. You might have to start off, but always be looking for ways to improve. And don't give the excuses I gave. Oh, well, I can't afford it. Then work a partnership out with somebody, right? Like that's how you get going, right? Like you find a way. That's the point. Winners find a way. And this kind of support structure with Jason and Keith and all the folks in the hounds and sister communities and friends, that's what it is. I didn't know nothing about breath work, right? Until I met April and Curtis and other folks, Julie Johnson, right? Now, you know, I'm a more evolved redneck. I'm on the path. At least I know where the path is, right? And so thank you for sharing that. I think that's can't be overstated. And let me ask you all this. Keith, I'll start with you because this one's really up both of y'all's alley. Where do people chase income but forget to build a life that can hold it? Like,
Well, and like Jason said, you know, and I'll piggyback on that a little bit. It's all in your mind. I mean, everyone wants more money. Everyone wants more influence. Everyone wants more opportunities. But you got to ask yourself a question first. Does my foundation allow for me to have more? Right? That's a big part of it. You know, does my foundation allow me to have more? Are you ready for the things that you've been praying for? Is your structure in line? Because success really exposes your structure. And you know, you can have all the hype in the world. You can have that boost, right? That adrenaline boost, but that eventually fades, right? It starts from within, knowing where you want to go, right? Knowing where you want to go, and then opening and allowing that space to be there so you can add more if that's your goal.
absolutely. We've done it, right? Like you didn't get on all these
Absolutely.
shows by bothering people in DMs yourself and all this stuff, the noise, right? We talked about. You did it by showing up as yourself, catching April's attention. April said, "Ooh, you got to meet this guy." Well, anytime that somebody like you and Jason say meet somebody, I just do it because I trust you, right? So
Yes, sir.
this is not hokiness. I want people to know because there's a lot of fluff out there floating around. When you become, you know, inner work, right? Self-awareness, right? You just get real with yourself. That's painful. But you become a very attractive person. People like you
Yes.
because you're not holding all that baggage on anymore. And tell me your business doesn't go boom when you are a comfortable, attractive person who is sincerely interested in others. Come on, man. You just can't get beat it. So that's where I would say, I agree, Keith. Inner work is the foundation to build a skyscraper that Jason has mastered. That's it. Inner work, skyscraper, right? Anything y'all want to add before we move on? Because I want people to understand the principle. Because if you want scalable help, I mean, reach out to them, reach out to me. I got people everywhere. But don't be confused. That's the thing. Too much confusion out there, right? And folks like me, Keith, and Jason, correct me if I'm wrong, but if you come to me wanting me to amplify noise, I'm going to send you to somebody who can clean up the noise. And I think
Absolutely.
that's where this works. People are spending money on automation where they need to be spending money on clarity, right? Those kind of things. And that's where the Hounds really stands for. I'm not selling bald person a haircut. You might get a wig or a hat. Hell, you might be okay bald, but we're going to tell you what you need. And Jason, you've done this before. People really appreciate that. I mean, we've sent each other some folks that, hey, maybe Jason can help them better than me. And that's not fakery. That is just best interest of the client. And, so in other words, you can scale, you can automate, and you can still have integrity and heart. And I used to think otherwise. You want to share something on that, Jason?
Yeah, my friend, that's what it's about. So I mentioned when I was in sales, I learned how to be a trusted advisor. And that meant keeping it real with customers. That meant sometimes not taking their money and telling them no, like, hey, this is not it. All right. I'm just letting you know. I appreciate you, but I'm not going to do that. And also walking away from the headache customers. So what it really is not trying to be everything to everybody. I saw somebody put that in the comments. I know I can help people, but I know I had a mission to help everybody, but I know I can't help everybody. I can through Mind Trainer Pro. It's neuroscience. It's in the Apple and Play Store, Google Play Store. But personally, one-on-one, I can't help everybody. So I'm only focused on helping good people do better. So if you fall into that category of good people, I'm going to do my best to help you. And the best thing about it is I don't have to do it all. I have an amazing network. I just met Keith, but I want him in my network. And I pull out these people like if I had a trench coat of amazing people, it's like, I don't have to do all the work myself. Check this out. You got to meet this guy. He's your guy. All right. That's it. And I don't need you to send me anything. I don't need you to say thank you. All what I need you to do is be the valuable, trusted advisor you are and take care of the person I sent you so I can hear thank you for sending me. That's a thank you is good enough because my bank account's full. It can get fuller, but I'm good with the thank you.
Yes.
Well, that's true freedom. I heard a guy, it was on YouTube, and I heard this and I thought, wow. He said freedom is doing whatever the hell you want and telling somebody to pee off if you don't like it or something. And it was real funny, but it is. If somebody says you got to show up for work, well, when you're free, you don't have to. That's real freedom because you have enough money. You don't have to get up and work for money because you have enough money working for you, right? Like that's how my mentor put it. But it takes work. And I just want to make sure we hit this. We touched on it a little bit, but before we close out, trust. To me, that's it. Trust first, trust always. That's what the thread of this is. Yes. Build trust that brings people to you. That's it. You all can sell jelly beans, man. I don't care. I'll be like, all right, well, I'm going to go bring people that like jelly beans to you because of you, right? Who you are. Not perfection. That's different. I don't know what that is. But people who do their best, they show up, and that can be understated. So especially now, what Jason, Keith, I don't know about you, but there's good, wholesome values and good conversation. That's not what usually goes viral, is it? What goes viral? Noise, drama, negativity, division, right?
Drama and drama.
Right. And so, but here's the deal. Y'all be still doing this. We're not compromising it. So that's why I trust you, because you're the same man off the camera as you are on the camera. And I'll be honest, both of y'all, that's the biggest compliment I've gotten recently with the new podcast. People say, oh my gosh, you really are who you seem to be. Man, that's a KPI to me now. I'm like, shit, that's exactly what I want to hear. But that's the engine that drives the structure. Once you have the structure, assuming you have the trust, boom, you're a rocket ship. So that's what I wanted to ask. From each of your lanes, Keith, we'll go to you. What needs to happen after someone gets attention or opportunity so it don't disappear when it comes to trust? So instead of going to a networking and pitch slapping, what do you think people should focus on? Because this is how we got here. Right? I want people to know this.
Well, I think that the biggest thing is on trust is it starts from within, right? Everything starts. It's the internal development that puts out the external success. Trust starts from within you, knowing what is your definition of trust. And a lot of times when people lose trust, it's because they don't trust themselves. So that trust starts from internally of knowing who you are, and then once you know who you are and you trust yourself, then you know what to look for, right? You know what to look for, what it looks like, and then you're able to move forward. But trust is a big one, but you have to really trust yourself and your experiences. Again, I always like to go back to your structure, right? Your structure is what's going to keep that sustainability there, as opposed to, motivation is early motivation is hype. Hype is something quick. Hype is something, today, but tomorrow it could be different. But it comes down to, systems, being able to trust what you see, your check marks that you already have in your systems. But it starts with trusting yourself and be about it. And remember, we weren't born to be average. We weren't born to be perfect, but we weren't born to be average either. Trust what you've built. Trust yourself so then you can trust others.
Well said, my friend. And you live it. It's not just words. Right? Like I
Literally.
saw. I said that's a guy who really, means what he says. And not perfect. We're not perfect,
No.
but it's intentional, right?
Yes.
All right. So I'm gonna close this out because we talked about this. You touched on it a little bit, Jason. Talking about poor follow up and things that kill real opportunity. What's the difference between being seen and being trusted? Because this is where you and I gravitated quickly. I said that's just not a man being seen and doing stuff. People actually value him, right? Like that's a difference. What do you want to share on this with the folks out there? Because they don't hear a lot on this subject.
Absolutely. So for one thing, and this is something that was on my mind before we end this, I want to say, all right, ladies, I trust y'all out there. You already know how to take care of yourself. You know how to keep your cup full. You know how to pamper yourselves. Men, I need y'all to understand how to do the same thing. I need you to understand how to make sure you've got everything you need, like a warrior going into battle. You don't go out there with an empty magazine, all right? Or if you're hunting, right? Or whatever. My point is, and I'm going to lead into trust, is men are sometimes just holding themselves to a standard that's unsustainable, right? Take a day off, get enough sleep, drink enough water, take care of yourselves because you only get this one meat suit. Now, speaking of that, when you can take care of your meat suit properly and handle your business like a man who's well rested and well taken care of, that builds trust because it builds results. Other people notice your results. They notice that you're not just talking the talk, you're walking the walk. Other people will leave testimonials. The proof of somebody's trustworthiness is there. The deficit of somebody's lack of trustworthiness is not there. So if you want to build trust, walk the walk, don't just talk the talk.
Good. I was like, I'm not going to mess that up. And I was on mute anyway, April. That was a me thing. See, that's why she tells me not to touch buttons. But you're right. And that's just be it. What did Marcus? I'm a big stoic guy now too. I mean, me and Marcus Aurelius like this. What did it say? Instead of wasting time talking about what a good man should be, just be one. That's it. And you get to define this. This is what I think I want people to take away. Whatever you grew up with, whoever you think you are, you can be whoever you want to be. And it starts with internal awareness, right? The shadow work, get real with yourself. And this is it, guys. I didn't set out to build this business. I just got tired. I was like, the hell with it. If I can't be myself and figure out how to build a business that fits me, I'll just be a rodeo clown. And when I just started talking about stuff, people went, me too. Like somebody had to go first, Jason, right? And that's what I love because people feel alone. They failed. They feel guilt and shame. And in communities like ours, all that's gone, right? Like, hey, come as yourself. Hey, but you better be working towards your best self. And that's why they're here. And it's not a police state. You come and go. And it's an attraction-based system. And that the system's based on trust. So I appreciate both of y'all. We're going to go to a lightning round. So, hey, short answer, whatever it is that comes to mind. Full disclosure, some of these questions, man, they don't land. So just kick it back to me. I ask some goofy ones sometimes. But, all right, we'll go with Jason and Keith and keep ping pong. All right.
Yes.
What's one sign that someone is chasing or maybe chasing hype instead of building structure?
Lack of clarity. People that are chasing hype, they don't make sense. You have questions, not answers.
Keith.
No vision. No vision. No vision.
No vision. No vision.
Can't see tomorrow.
Yeah. We talking about pencils one day and steaks the next day. Yeah. And I ain't knocking it. I used to do that, but not last. All right. What is one system every serious business owner needs?
We're doing Jason then
Mm.
Keith or Keith then Jason?
Keith, y'all fight for it. I just throw the football out there and let y'all go. No. Keith, what's one system or aspect that people overlook when it comes to building a system?
Believability. I mean, don't expect that everyone believes in themselves, right? Help build people up. I mean, at the end of the day, build people up. I mean, build people up, develop confidence. Listen, the happier people are, the better they work. I mean, it's simple, right?
Yeah. And there's truth to that, because speaking to somebody that stays up at 2 a.m., and can't sleep, that if your system can produce that authentically, amen. Jason.
Duplication and training. So if you're having to do all things because you're the expert, you just built yourself a full-time job. Congratulations. So better get so good at being a master that you can train other people.
Hey, and that happens when you don't think you're going to succeed, because I didn't start with confidence. I had to develop that over this process.
Yes.
But a lot of you all out there go, oh shit, I'm actually making it. Oh no, now you got to take it seriously. Go see Jason in the house, man. Shameless plug. All right. What's one thing leaders need to stop calling strategy when it's really a distraction? Jason.
Something they need to stop calling strategy. That's a distraction. I got to put this out there. Might be a touchy subject, but networking events. I see some top leaders spending like half their life on Zoom, and I'm like, so is the other half like taking care of your clients or your family? I'm curious. Balance.
Ooh, I'm glad we didn't talk 2 years ago, man. I would have cried, because you're right. But I couldn't accept it then. Hey, this is why we're doing this. Thank you, brother. Keith, what is one thing leaders need to stop calling a strategy when it's really just a distraction?
I would say overtime. Overtime.
Oh,
I would say overtime because, again, looking busy doesn't mean you're being productive. You could be at work for 8 hours and only get 2 hours of work done.
yeah.
I mean, right? Build more on production as opposed to hours spent.
Yep. I'm not bragging. I'm not like, ooh, look at me messing
Yeah.
things. I just want people to understand this is truth, y'all. I don't want to see you go down the same path. I want y'all to be elevated. So, last one. Jason, what is one discipline that has helped you build or scale better?
One discipline. Well, first of all, discipline is everything, right? Being able to wake up day after day, whether you feel like it or not. But every single day, I like to wake up for everybody else. I like to go outside. I like to give gratitude. I like to feel the earth. I like to feel God. I like to set my day right with calmness and clarity before there's ever even a meeting allowed on my calendar. And that's a discipline that sticks with me, to make sure that I'm starting off calm and clear and not in chaos, because it sets the tone for the day. If somebody else comes around and they're like, everything's on fire, I'm like, shh, quiet. Let's fix it.
Stoicism. Yeah, it saved my sanity multiple instances every day. This week has not been my week. And it happens. But it's not a commonality anymore. And that's it. I went and played guitar the other day. Most people would go, oh my God, what are you doing? Marcus Aurelius went through all kind of shit, and then he went horseback riding. You have to take care of you, folks. Good job. All right. So this is where, Keith, did I skip you?
Yes. Yes.
Oh my goodness, man, you too nice. All right, go ahead. Okay, I done lost the question.
Oh no, I got you. For me again, I'm a big person on believing, because I think believing is a skill set that we all need. Think about this: we are all 100% at getting through everything in life we've been through so far, and that takes believing. When you believe in yourself, there's nothing in this world that you can't do. Believe in yourself. Helping others believe in themselves is what will make this world a better place.
Amen. If I had to summarize it, I would say you two represent realism with faith. You all see things as is, but also see what it could be better. All right, yourself, your business, your impact, and the people around you, and your hearts. Man, that's what got it for me. So a lot of folks out there running around with good hearts, good intention. They want to go out there and help people from the crap they went through. You need structure, you need support. So on that note, gentlemen, the hounds will be mad at me, all right, if y'all don't tell them where they can go, where they can learn more, where they can explore. So Jason, where can folks go to learn more about what you have to offer and all the good things in your side of the neck of the woods?
Let's go. I got all my links on LinkedIn. You can check out Mind Trainer Pro, the No More 9 to 5 Club, all from linkedin.com/Jason No More 9 to 5.
All right, Keith. That smile is original, man. I've never seen nobody smile that just like lights me up, man. That's a real authentic smile. Everybody give it up for Keith Smile. We're gonna embarrass him a little bit. You are a good dude, man.
You want to know where that smile come from real quick?
I please.
It was because I had so much anger built up in me growing up from what I saw with so much destruction. I made a conscious choice. I was going to smile no matter what. I remember even doing interviews and people were saying, man, you got a great smile. But inside of me, man, I was burning. But it was a choice, right? I choose to try to make people happier, and smiles really break that ice so people can become happier. And if you want to find me, you can find me on LinkedIn, or you can go to my website at mercerelite.com, or you can find me on a stage near you, helping people be the best that they can be.
Yeah, I'm going to give you a shout out. This man speaks. He speaks at schools to our youth. This is the kind of mentor we need to get in front of more people. All right. So speaking engagements, there you go. Call Keith. All right. And speaking of that, thank you both you gentlemen for coming here, being so open.
Yes.
Harmonious man. Right. You're not a brute.
Yes.
You're not a coward. You're somewhere in the middle. Go define that for yourself. All right. And last thing. Hey, folks, show up to this, share this. This will be a blessing to many people. We give value, right? At Costco, too much talk out there, too much confusion. If you come in and take a sample of the Costco, when they did the little sausage on the toothpick, that's why I bought it, because the woman said, hey, you want to try that? I said, sure. That's what this is. Experts in the field giving you clarity, information, right? Make a decision based on all the information. That's what we're doing. Hey, look at this, put the horse before the cart, stop wasting money, burning out, and thinking you suck. You don't suck. You just don't know what you don't know. So thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, April Wyatt, my friend. Don't forget to go to livingwithintention.co. Ladies, if you have a lady in your life, all right, guys watching, ladies, go share this. All right. This is a great experience. They need community too. They need regulation, and people are hurting out there. We got to quit hiding this shit. And I appreciate your strength to go out here and talk from the heart. Gentlemen, if you need anything, hey, you reach out. All right. Be good. Folks in the comments.
Yes,
Hounds,
sir.
friends of the hounds. You got it. Love you to death. Hey, brotherhood will be the next topic. And that's it. Don't do it alone. People, resource, support. You got it right here. Take a baby step. Let's go. Be good. All right, bro. Hit the button.
All right.
Thank y'all for stopping by. Be sure to follow, share, and like. And send me a message if you had fun today. Y'all come back now.